What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about my early impressions on Baldur's Gate 3. Now, at the time I'm recording this, I've put about 5 or so hours into the game. By the time you guys see this video, it'll probably be doubled. I am quite addicted to this game, so maybe even in the comments I can talk a little bit more. Look, I love this game, and that's definitely the theme. That's definitely, the title reflects how I feel. I am blown away with it, and it's really, I think the arc has been completed, my character arc, really. A few weeks ago, right, I talked about I wasn't even into this game. I didn't care. I didn't look into it. I didn't even half know about this game. And then, I started watching some videos, and some friends, online friends had made videos on it, started watching that, and the game just looked really, really good. I felt that it would kind of be up my alley, even though I've never played a game like this before. I'm not even into Dungeons and Dragons, but I am into RPGs, and now having played some of it, it feels very much like Dragon Age is maybe the closest, more like a mainstream kind of, although this game is absolutely blowing up, right? This game maybe is bigger than Dragon Age at this point, but it reminds me of Dragon Age to a degree in terms of the lore and the factions, right? Classes and all this kind of political stuff that's going on. That's the closest kind of mainstream thing it reminds me of, and I love it. So I really have come full circle into not knowing about it, then starting to care and wondering if I should get it. Then I made the choice, get this game, get Remnant 2. I chose this game. I'll get Remnant 2 later, and I am just blown away with pretty much everything. Now, the game is very difficult. That is something that I was kind of ready for, but you're also not ever truly ready, for a game being hard. You still have to figure stuff out, right? So I knew it would probably be a struggle to figure out the combat, to figure out just literally how this game works, and that means like menus and even character creation, which I actually figured out that I did that wrong, which is fine. Like, I chose a predetermined character. I chose Gale the sorcerer. I didn't know how to make your own character. I did make my own guardian, so she's unique. She's somebody I spent some time making. I don't save nearly enough. I don't rest nearly enough, but I'm getting better. I'm starting to save before kind of key moments. I am resting when I kind of run out of certain spells, right? Ones that need to be replenished through a long rest. I'm starting to learn the game, and the more that I play it, the more comfortable I get in just meeting people and talking and figuring out, okay, what is the conversation or dialogue choice I'm going to do? Do I feel confident that I'm going to be able to roll that die and get a good number, right? I'm starting to kind of come into my own in this game, but just everything about it is extremely good. Hard, yes. Takes a while to get used to, yes, especially if you've never played a game like this before. Visually, the game is outstanding. Really, it's one of the prettier games I've played, opening with a pretty meaty kind of cinematic thing, but just even, conversations with characters, and I want to get into kind of how conversations work as well, but even just the visuals of it, I think they do an incredible job. A lot of times you'll have games where what they do modern day is they'll flip the camera, right, to try to get movement there, because oftentimes the characters won't move all that much when they're talking. This game, because the characters actually don't talk too much, right, when you choose a dialogue choice, it's a couple sentences and then it's done. I feel like that was maybe done to give more time for animation and emoting and just the quality of the voice work, because what you get, because it's not too much talking, right? It's kind of a sacrifice. You don't get all of the talking, but instead you get characters that are very emotive. They'll move their shoulders, they'll move their upper torso, and I really like that. It just makes me feel like they're more alive. And then on the conversation point of characters, this game is, I think that maybe is what surprised me the most about this game. Every character I've met so far has been really good. Either the voice actor is incredible, just really, really polished, right? Or even the lore, what they're talking about is actually interesting. Again, you can get into whether it's fantasy or whether it doesn't even matter if it's fantasy. If it's just an open world game with heavy lore, sometimes you're not really going to get invested in it, right? And now again, because I think it's shorter sentences, they're not talking for 10 minutes per thing, I think that helps. I think that makes me more invested in what's happening. But my companions, I love them. Talking to just random NPCs that are walking around, a goblin thing or whatever, they're all really fun to talk to. And then I guess the main hook of the game is just there's so much that happens, right? And there's so many ways of handling a situation. So, you can persuade people to leave a certain area. I did that. Then I went to knock on the door, and I could have persuaded them to open the door for me. Well, I failed that die roll, so I couldn't do it. So I had to find another way in. I went in, and we started attacking each other. that just one example. There's other examples of like a goblin camp where you could go in and you could just attack everybody, and that would probably be hard. And myself, my skill level, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. Instead, I just kind of convinced them that I'm a wacky guy and to let us in to the camp and not attack us. And I think that is what makes this game kind of so special, is around every corner there's a new NPC to talk to. I don't want to say 100 different ways, or I don't want to exaggerate too much, because the funny thing is with this game, there actually is so many different paths. I think it's more fair to the game to just say kind of specifics. There's maybe 5-6 different ways certain things can go, right? You can be aggressive but persuade them in that way. You can just trick them. You can read their mind to get something over them in that way. I mean, there's just so much. Oh, and then there's basically who you choose. So I've done everything I've talked about, right? How I've handled certain situations. That would change based off of who I am. So if I'm a different race, a different origin, all this stuff, that would change as well. That would change how different factions perceive you just in the beginning. Also, when sometimes you have things where, okay, well, if it's a magic kind of conversation, because I'm a mage or a sorcerer or whatever, I sometimes will get like an extra dialogue thing to say, hey, I know what I'm talking about because I know magic, so I can add something to the conversation. If I wasn't that character, I wouldn't be able to do it, but maybe I'd be able to do something else. So, obviously the people that have been paying attention to this game, maybe this is not surprising, but as somebody that kind of knew some of this stuff was coming, but then getting to experience it, it's so much. But again, like reading stuff and like understanding menus and all that is tough. And I don't feel comfortable in saying like I'm good at it. I really don't think I'm good at it. I think I have a long way to go with the combat. I think I would get absolutely crushed in certain, fighting scenarios. So I got a long way to go, but I'm also 5 hours in, when I'm recording this. So I feel really good about continuing the game. I want to continue it. I'm kind of addicted to it. Even if I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it kind of nonstop. And then, even when I'm done, now that's like 100 hours later, but I feel like the need to say, well, what happens if I was like a dwarf or an elf, or like what would change if I'm one of these things versus what I am now? I don't want to play this game. I don't think I can play this game like 6, 7, 8 times to figure all that out. I don't have 800 hours, and because I play so many other games, right? But it's a game that actively makes you think about, oh, well, number one, there's like 5 different ways to get out of this. But number two, I wonder what would change if I wasn't even who I am, if I was somebody else. What would be different here? And I'm not even at the part to like swap out. Like I have 3 companions. I know you get more and then you can kind of swap them. I haven't even found more, so I can't swap them out yet to kind of know which what makes each of them tick. But I love the companions so far. I mean, I'm having a blast with this game. So far, so good. So far, money well spent. And I don't know, maybe I'll do like a full review. It depends on how these Baldur's Gate videos do. But if I think of more ideas, if you guys want me to make more stuff on this game, I absolutely will. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to support me anywhere else, all my social media links are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next one.